Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Imad and today we will be talking to Adarsha and Karthikeyan a little bit of an introduction on the kind of sessions that we do. We interact with people across the board working in data science. So we essentially call data scientists, business analysts, data analysts, senior managers, and try and get an understanding from them as to what they see is relevant for the field, what is most important, how can people get jobs. So all of these things, and in fact, learn more from their learnings while implementing projects in their companies. So it's like a platform for everybody to come share their learnings so far so that everybody in the community benefits. A little bit on Karthikeyan. Let me read out the bio he sent me. I think that that'll be easier for me. Where is that? Okay, so he said Karthikeyan is a business analyst / decision scientist, trainee, and LinkedIn daily data science contributor who has been working in the data science industry for the last 2 years. He's currently working at New Sigma Business Solutions, helping Fortune 100 companies solve business problems with data-driven approaches and decision science. He writes every day on LinkedIn about data science, analytics, and about his journey and experience to help aspirants and beginners from the last 3 years. That's Karthikeyan. Thank you so much for being here and welcome.
It's my pleasure.
Adasha Shivananda is a data scientist, author, speaker, and AI educator, and so many things that he has not added, who has over 6 years of experience in data science. He is currently working at Indigene's product and technology team as lead data scientist, where they enable predictive analytics and AI features to pharma software products. His core expertise in statistics, machine learning, deep learning, NLP, recommendation systems helps to solve problems in the pharma, healthcare, retail, and marketing domains. Previously, he was part of Credence Analytics and IQVIA. He has also published a book on natural language processing with A-Press and has also been a mentor at many online platforms and other institutions. So welcome, Adasha. Thank you so much for giving your time today.
Thank you. Thanks, Simon. Did I have a choice not to accept? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Everybody has a choice in their life. Anyway, so this is a brief introduction on what Adasha and Karthikeyan have been doing. What I've been doing, I've been running these meetups, and I also work as a data scientist at a company called Vahan. Maybe I allow you both to give your introduction yourself. I know I have not done a good enough job, so that maybe you guys can add and make it sound much more better. So Karthikeyan, maybe you can.
Oh yeah. Thanks for the introduction. The sent introduction. Yeah. So yeah, as Imad mentioned, I work as a decision scientist in New Sigma, where we solve a lot of business problems for a lot of Fortune 500 and 100 companies. And I have been mainly working with Fortune 100 companies for the past 2 years across different verticals as well as horizontals. And starting from data engineering to predictive analytics, I've been a part of projects where we were able to build a foundation and make companies consume predictive analytics in real time for a lot of use cases. So looking forward to talking with you guys and also share my LinkedIn journey. So yeah.
Great. Adasha?
Okay. Hey, hi everyone. So I think the introduction Imad gave that pretty much includes most of it. I have over 6 years of experience into data science, analytics, machine learning, NLP, and related fields. Past 3 years, I have been working with Indigene as a lead data scientist. Prior to that, I was in Credence Analytics. Again, it was an analytics startup. And before that, I was in IQVIA as a data analyst, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. As he mentioned, I'm an author, wrote a book on NLP, and I started doing a lot of online and classroom training from last 3-4 years. Cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's very, very casually, like, I'm an author, yeah, and I'm an author. It's as if, like, yeah, writing a book is no man's play, right? It's like, yeah, it's like child's play. I can just sit and write a book. I'm an author. But yeah, that's what he's done. And so let me just get into the question. So I can, to give some context, I had already shared a few questions that I wanted to ask the panelists, and I have them with me right now, and I've also shared them with them so that they can also get to know what kind of the session will be. So just to get started, don't expect this session to be about a lot of personal things about them, because I don't think they will tell that. But the first question would be, you are in this field, and you've been here since many years. Karthikeyan's been for multiple years. Adasha has been over for 5+ years. So why did you actually choose this field? What was so interesting in this? And I don't know about your bachelor's, so maybe you can talk about that as well. But was your bachelor's very relevant to what you're doing now? But what was the motivation for you to get started in this field, Karthikeyan?
Yeah, that's a great question, Imad. So it started probably in 2017, I guess. That was my final year in engineering. So my bachelor's is in information technology, and I had a lot of chance to like take good electives. So one specific elective was business intelligence. So that was probably, I would say, is the starting point for me to get into data science. That subject really was very interesting, I would say, even though it was more related to like how we are enabling business functions to use reports and consume it in an effective way to take business decisions. So I started learning from there, and that's where I got excited about this field, and I wanted to learn more. And the upcoming semesters had subjects like foundation to AI, machine learning. So I was fortunate enough to take those courses and have good people around me to teach me as well in college. So I would say that was pretty much the starting point. And again, the curiosity in solving business problems with a given set of data, with a quantitative approach, is something that excites me. So that was like, I would say, probably a good start, was a good starting point for me to get into this field. So yeah, that's where I started in my final year of engineering. Yeah.
Adasha?
Okay, cool. So,
What's your motivation? Why are you here?
yeah.
Don't say you like dirty data. Don't say that.
No. Okay, there are a couple of reasons, right? You should not laugh, by the way. Okay, the primary reason would be unemployment, right?
Okay.
So,
Explain.
6 years back, right, 2014, I'm a BE mechanical, by the way. So when I passed out with BE mechanical, I was pretty much without a job, right? So then again I started exploring things and what can be done, right? So just few people recommended me that there is something called as there was no AI, there was no data science. There's something called as data analytics, right? Or business analytics. So just started exploring on that and started again. It joined a 2-month course and did some basics of business analytics, right? And started my journey from there, right? And also the another reason was again, we as he rightly mentioned, we had few electives in 3rd year and 4th year, and for us there was electives related to statistics, right? So when you compare to a lot of complicated subjects like design, and we had like machine design and random subjects, so which are highly complicated and we are not that much interested. So this felt like a easy way in, and it was really interesting. So that's where it all started. And back then there was like even the tools like R and Python were really getting started. The tool there was SAS. So SAS was there. So I started learning SAS, and then I got into IKEA. So yeah, that's pretty much it. How I got to.
Okay, interesting motivations. One is because Karthikeyan had not faced unemployment yet, so he can't say that. But
I wish I don't.
No, it's interesting because a lot of people come in with different backgrounds, and that's something that I've been observing, right? Like a lot of people have different motivations to even get started. So it's always very interesting to understand, hey, what was your reason to get started? A lot of people, I mean, some people I've spoken to have done PhDs, and then after their PhD, they are like, this is a natural field for us because we have done a lot of hard sciences, like a physics major or a maths major, right? So they're like, okay, I'm just going to transition into this field because I have done a lot of similar work. So different backgrounds, that's what I'm trying to say. So both of you coming from bachelors, and then you even before bachelor, and Adasha after bachelors. So that brings me to the next question. So how did you transition into data science? So this is for the general audience, right? Like if you are starting off, now we'll talk about the courses and everything in the next question, but if you're just starting off, what were the steps you took to get started in the field, right? You are a complete newbie, and then what was your transition journey like? So that is what I would like to get to know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question again, because that has been like probably the most asked question to me in LinkedIn as well from a lot of people. And I feel personally is that people should first get aware of all the roles that are available in data field. Not just data scientist, not just machine learning engineer, not just data analyst. They have to know, like, okay, there is data engineers that are part of the team. There are people who have like ML engineers only do ML stuff and not the other things. So first, people should make sure that like what all roles are there and what aligns with their interest. That is the most important thing, I would say. And then going forward from there, because for me it was initially yes, as everyone wants to be a data scientist, I also want to be a data scientist at some point of time. Yes, right now I'm a business analyst or a decision scientist, you can name it anything. But moving from one role to another is obviously something that you can do, but getting the first foot on is something you should start with the passionate part or the interesting part for you. Few people like to analyze data, so they should probably start with data analyst role. Probably few folks already have business experience and they want to like get into data science. Probably they should look into business analyst role in their own domain, where they can like quickly pick up programming languages and then use their domain knowledge straight away, rather than having to look into a data scientist role where they have to learn a lot more things and experiment and then get into the field. So I personally feel like find something that is more interesting and relevant to you at the starting, and then any role that you want in future can be like transitioned into by learning new things. So that is something that I feel people should do. And I also personally did the same thing. Business analyst role or a decision scientist role or a data scientist role that I want to get into, this was one way of me getting into the field. And if any career progression that I want to have in this field, I can like start learning things for that and move from there. So just try to get in. Yeah.
So you got in as a student itself. So can you explain a little bit more about how you were able to do that?
Oh yeah. So it was a traditional campus placement opportunity. But the thing is, I refrained myself from applying to other software engineering roles because I was not interested in doing software engineering. So I had a limited opportunities, because obviously as a student from just having bachelor's, getting into a field of data science is little difficult, as we all know, and we have to agree on. There were like 3 or 4 companies that were looking for people for data analyst and junior business analyst role, and Mu Sigma was one among them. And then I like was fortunate enough to get in. Yeah. Right. So that's how I got into the field.
Cool. So your transition is essentially from a student to finding a role as a decision scientist or a business analyst through an on-campus placement drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Adasha?
Okay, cool. So I think I started that answer in my previous answer itself, right? So basically, after my graduation, I did a quick crash course on analytics, right? It would primarily include, as I told you, the tools like SAS and introduction to R, and Excel as well, right? And a few things related to statistics, right? So that it was all there. It was everything was really basic. Everything was really simple, right? And even that was a good deal back then, right? So then
was upgrade there back then? No.
I don't think so.
They will be happy I took the name, but no. No, because anyway, so no, you said you did a course, and then a lot of these online education services provide courses. So we'll come to that on what courses to take later. But yeah, so you said you did a course, and then
Sure. So, and then again, I got a job in IKEA as data analyst, right?
through the course, or was it like after you did the course, you had to apply a lot?
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah. After the course, I had to apply through again LinkedIn and Naukri and all those things. I think I got a call from Naukri, right? And then went for the interview and yeah, everything was fine. I mean, prior to that, I gave like close to 4 or 5 interviews, which was unsuccessful. I'll just talk only about successful. Right?
No, that is normal. So I think a lot of us don't like to talk about unsuccessful interviews, but I like to talk about them. Like I'm like, this is normal for everyone. Every person who's successful, you name it, right? Bill Gates or Elon Musk or all these guys that you think are successful have had more failures in their life than successes. So we only see the success part, but we try to ignore and try to hide that. But I mean, I think it's important for us to be able to talk about them as well, because that is what is life. Otherwise, if you just try to show that, no, I am successful at whatever I do, then I don't think you're a human. I don't think you're a human. Because humans try and then fail anyway. So yeah, I think, like you said, very good points. You gave a lot of interviews and then some of them worked. So essentially your transition story came after your bachelor's, after you did your bachelor's in an unrelated field, and a small course for I think 2-3 months. That's what you said?
Yeah, 2 months. Yes.
2 months enabled you to transition into this field. So do you think it is possible to transition in this amount of time? Is it normal now that you've been in this field for so many months?
It's not. I mean, it's a bit difficult right now, right? As I told you 6 years back, right? The field itself was getting started. There was not many people who at least know what I knew, right? And back then, back then it was plain and simple. I think it happened. But for now, I think it's a bit difficult just to learn the amount of things that we need to learn in 2 months is it's not just possible.
So the competition was lesser, you mean?
Exactly. Yeah, competition was less, and the amount of things I need to learn was less. Right? It's few concepts. Right now, we are stepped into machine learning. We need to know NLP, we need to know deep learning, recommendations. You need to know a lot of things, which I gained all this experience through working for the 6 years. Right. The basic knowledge that when I joined I had was like really basic knowledge. Right. I think it's difficult now. It was easy.
So now companies expect you to have a lot more knowledge than what it was 6 years back.
6 years back, yes.
Yeah, entry roles with 3+ year experience.
Oh, that is my favorite because you're never going to find somebody like that. And you get like 10-15 years plus experience in deep learning in PyTorch and TensorFlow, which is amazing. So maybe PyTorch is a 3-4 year old project, but then you want 15+ years experience in PyTorch. Good luck finding that person. Okay, so that was more about transition. I have another question here, which is about what were the resources, books, videos, courses you used that helped you in your transition?
So first thing first, when it comes to, like, as I mentioned, start exploring the field from the beginning. So there were 2 tools. So it was not for me 2014. So it was 2017, and R and Python was pretty much coming up already as tools for data analysis and data science. So I picked up R, and I just it was very curious first to let's see what is the statistical software does and how does it work. So that was one thing. And I started with R, and it was pretty simple. I would say anyone can pick it up with a normal introduction to R course from Data Camp or any other basic online e-learning websites, and can get started with analyzing data. So I would say pick up any tool, R or Python. Okay, both are useful. Both can do all the tasks pretty much for anyone who is in the entry level. Only when you get into more complex things, you would like to have the debate of Python and R, and then like whatever it is. Probably, I guess we will get there some point of time in this conversation. But yeah, and with respect to statistics, I would say books are the best thing that could happen, because I love online courses. I have done a lot of online courses. If you had seen in my LinkedIn profile, so many courses. The only thing is, as I would love to learn in-depth concepts, but the only problem with online courses, it like touches upon a lot of things, but it doesn't go in depth to make you understand completely. So if someone is going to ask you something in regression, you'll be better off with a book from a statistic rather than a course that you have taken, which like just focuses on like how you can implement the same in R or Python, and that's all. And also one more thing that we could like one book suggestion I would say, and everyone probably would have known already, is ISLR. So I know it's a very like a lot of things to consume in it, but if you take a bit by bit and like start learning algorithm by algorithm, you will be able to learn a lot more things, and your stats will improve a lot. Your ML knowledge will improve a lot, as well as it has code snippets in R itself. So it's a very great starting point for you to like implement stuff and see. And yeah, and I also like would suggest to use Kaggle extensively. Use Kaggle extensively, like not just download the data set and do on your own. Look into other people's kernels. Look into how they have processed the data, how they have cleaned the data, how they have visualized it, and what was the rationale behind looking the data, how they have done it. So that is something that I guess people should start with, and the resources pretty much what I started with as well.
Sure. Adasha?
Okay, so I think it's a bit contradictory, or it's in a bit another way that how I learned things, right? Probably it's not the recommended, right? I'll just probably share how I did it, right? So I did not go through a lot of online videos, online courses. I did not read many books, right? So it was purely while I was working, right? So let's say, for example, I didn't know logistic regression, right? There comes a business problem which requires logistic regression, right? So then I would spend probably 1 hour to understand how it works, right? Through Google, just by Googling, and try to just go through a few articles, right? How it works, the theory and the equation behind that, how it can be implemented in R or Python, any tool, right? So it was more of learning while working, right? I gladly got the use cases which sort of covered a lot of technologies involved in data science, right? So that's why I was able to learn most of the things. And the other important thing was it's not only just Googling and learning, it's more about talking to your colleagues as well, right? Your friends or your colleagues, whoever is expert in that particular field, right? And you just talk for 1 hour, you'll gain more knowledge than you just go through an online course, right? So I would recommend more that. And even I learned a lot of things from even Imad, right? When we were working together. So he knew a lot of NLP and deep learning concepts, right? So I used to talk to him regarding a lot of things, and I learned a lot of things from him as well, right?
I did not pay him to tell this. Please go ahead. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I made it for last 6 years. It was more through just random Googling, right, for a given concept, and more of talking to my colleagues and experts.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a very interesting point of view, interesting observations as to how do you get started, because Adasha was like thrown in the deep end because he just got started working immediately in a period of 2 months. He had to do this kind of learning because he had to do a job, and then he had to also learn while he was on the job because he came from a different background as well. So it was a result of the circumstances he was in, because during his bachelor's, maybe he was not thinking about this area at all, right? Instead, contrast that with what Karthikeyan was doing. He was already in his bachelor's. So if you're a student right now, I mean, I think in general, students have a lot more time than a working professional. I think Karthikeyan would agree right now.
Very true. Very true.
So when you're a student, you have the opportunity to explore a lot of things. And like you said, then you can read books, you can do whatever you want. So if there's any student watching this, this is the only advice for you, right? Try and explore as many things as you can, because that time you will not get once you start working.
True. Very true. The time that you get in your final year is the best. If you are like really planning to getting into data science, I would suggest you like pretty much pick up like a lot of online courses and books which can help you, and start exploring the field. Talk with a lot of people so that you'll be in a very better position than anyone else.
And in fact, even more than data science, I want to, like, if you're a student, right, like, keep a broad mindset. There are like multiple fields in computer science itself. If you're a computer science student, there is AR, VR, there is web development. There's like a lot of different things you can get into, because a lot of people are not exposed to these fields. They don't even know the fields exist. Like same thing with data science analytics. It was like Adasha said earlier. Now there's no problem of exposure for data science. Like a lot of people know that data science exists because you can see on buses in Bangalore. So
yeah. BMTC are the best advertising platform for all the online platforms for their data science courses.
So I see ads on buses in Bangalore. So that problem is solved for data science. But then there are other fields in computer science. Like there's an entire subfield in computer science called game theory. I think you must have heard of that, which is very exciting if you get into the theory, and even leave that, which is again something related to money, cryptocurrency, right? Like it's very exciting if you try and understand what is happening and the technical details and all of that. But nobody is paying attention to that right now, because it's not, I mean, a lot of people are paying who understand what it is. But my point is, if you're a student, all these things exist. Please try and explore them. And if you're interested in data science, then there's nothing like it. You have books, you have all the recommendations that these folks have given you. All right, so yeah, very interesting viewpoints, two different ways of getting ahead in the field. Next question, I know both of you now are working professionals. So next question is more about what have you learned working in this field so far? I think Adasha added a few more points to this question from my original question. Like, what are the skills that you think are very important? What is it that really helps you contribute well in this field? Karthikeyan?
Yeah. So I would say, like, again, I guess there's probably pretty much many people would know, and that's the truth. You spend at least 60 to 70% of your time cleaning data. I have like done an all type of projects, the data cleaning process that had consumed the most amount of time for me. And that's the most important thing as well, because garbage in, garbage out. And that statement remains the same. And once you get into the field, you will also get, you will also know that. So it's better to like start learning how efficiently you can clean the data, as well as play with it and wrangle with it, so that it'll be way easier when you get into the modeling part of stuff. So that is one thing I like in the field. When I got into as everyone, like a beginner, I was like so curious. Okay, when is the day that I'm gonna implement some ML algorithm that's gonna like change the way a business problem is being seen? So that was something that I was like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do it. Day after tomorrow I'm gonna do it. But that was not the case.
Are you still waiting for the day? Are you still waiting?
Fortunate enough to like got exposed to multiple projects already, where I had to like start from data engineering and like do predictive analytics throughout. Great. So it was a very good experience. But in the initial 6 months, you have that anxious feeling of when you will like do the real data science that people say real data science. But
so now that you've seen, do you think there is real data science now that you've seen?
Yeah, true. It's there. It's it's for sure out there, and it's worth pursuing, because there is at least whoever is passionate in this field should experience a business problem. Okay, and they have to solve, like, the experience of solving the problem with the data and the algorithms is like can be exhausting, but it's the most rewarding thing, I would say, in this field. So that is one thing. Data cleaning part is like very true, and people should like put utmost respect to it so that they'll be able to build good models. That is one thing. Second thing is like agile way of working. So you can't like expect people to like, okay, they have given you data, you will take like 8 months or 6 months to like give something to them so that they can do business decisions or take business decisions. Because right now we are like moving in a very fast pace that like probably after 3 or 4 months things might change drastically and your analysis might not be relevant at that point of time. So the working style and the agile way of like quickly churning out results is something that I feel the industry is demanding a lot right now. So I guess people should be like more proactive in the way that they are working, and I got exposed to it only once I came into the field. Because in the initial stages or when you are learning, you will be like taking a Kaggle data set or somewhere else and you will be trying a lot of concepts, but it's not time bound and it's not business constraints bound. Once you get in the field, both of them come into picture, and you have to tackle them as well with
I think
dirty data.
business constraint bound is a very big constraint that not a lot of people realize when they just get started, right?
Very true.
Okay, yeah. Anything else to add to that?
So yeah, I guess probably I'll add on after
Okay.
Adarsh
Others?
shares his view.
Yeah, sure. So I would probably put it in a different sections of my 6 years, right? So probably I'll just I'll make it to three categories, right? Initial years, what I used to do is entirely something that I was told to do, right? I didn't know how things works. I didn't know a lot of complicated algorithms also. I didn't know how the business works. So first initial 2 years, it was always okay, what my senior will ask me to do, right? He used to give me the clear instructions. Okay, use this, do this, and come back with the results. And he used to see the results, and again he will give me some suggestions. Again, I'll go back and do the changes, and I'll go back to him with the results, right? So that was the initial phase, right? It was the learning was more about how do you learn what he is doing, right? So how you have to closely observe what your seniors are doing, right? So how he is looking into the results, how he is seeing it, how he is able to connect the dots, right? So it was only that I was doing for first initial 2 years, right? And that gave me a lot of context on the next 2 years, which is sort of handling end-to-end project, right? Now I was not doing things in bits and pieces, right? Since I was observing him closely, I know what I have to do to execute one sort of end-to-end project, right? Here the problem is still I had to rely on someone else for the approach, right? Yeah, I knew how to do it, right? I knew how to now that I learned a good amount of statistics, good amount of machine learning. Now I know how to do it. I know how to see the results. But still, from business problem to a machine learning problem, that how do we frame that is still something I was not confident about, right? I was still have to rely on someone else for that, right? And that was the learning experience in second 2 years, right? Second segment where I can sort of do end to end, but still I have to rely on someone else. And the last 2 years was more of how do you, now that I don't code too much, I don't have to involve about programming and all. My primary learning a day-to-day life looked like to sort of frame a machine learning, frame an approach, right? A machine learning approach which will solve a business problem, right? More about understanding the features, more about understanding the business problem, and sort of decide, okay, what type of pipeline should I design so that this problem will get solved, right? So these are the three things that I think everyone should sort of follow, right? Initial 2 years is my time period. You can have it 1 year, 6 months based on your comfortable, based on your requirements. But yeah, the stages should be just observe your seniors and learn from how they are doing, and just move on one segment to one.
Great. So on this very related note, again, I think both of you can take. So now that you've worked for like Adarsha for multiple years, and Karthikeyan for a few years. Which skill do you think, you mentioned about data cleaning, but which is one skill that you keep seeing to be most important in somebody who's working in this field? And what, and the counter question to that is, what do you see people most lacking in that you think should be there?
So I would say like probably one skill in both the areas. That one skill is relating the business problem and how you can like approach it with the available data that you have, and like setting a probably a 5-step 6-step process, and then like giving the stakeholders a flavor of how their results would look like and what outcomes they might like get out of a particular problem that they're planning to solve. So right now, one thing I would say, like from a student to a professional after 2 years right now, having a lot of empathy towards the business stakeholders have helped me a lot to understand how we can like help them solve the business problem with the data. So that is the one of the most important skill, I would say, if someone wants to like get into this field and like go a lot further, they have to understand the business and also have empathy towards the business stakeholders to solve the problem effectively and efficiently.
Empathy is a skill set no course will teach you, Adarsha. Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
I think even I had the same answer, right? So that proves my theory as well, right? That's the important skill, even I would say, because if you don't have that particular skill where you can actually understand the business and come up with the business problems itself, not the solution, just the problem. I think this is your problem that your business is facing, right? Coming up with that problem statement and transferring it into a machine learning problem or just a data problem, right, is the primary skill that is required. And that, I think the answer to your second question is the same thing. What most data scientists lack is the same answer. So
very true.
This sort of transforming into data problem is most of the people are not aware of, right? They're not, again, as you rightly mentioned, no course will teach. So it's just have to start doing it yourself and learn from your seniors.
I can tell that from I think from my experience as well, right? Like not, I mean, again, this is very biased opinion, but then what some period of entrepreneurship will teach you is actually that, like having empathy for a business person, because then you are actually trying to run a business and then you're seeing your business going in all directions, you're seeing it fail, you're trying to pull it up and all of that, right? And like for me, I went through that path, and then now I'm working as data scientist. Now I know what you value as a business person, right? Like I know this is what you want, and then now I can contribute even more in a data science role, because then you actually know what a business person cares about, and if you can contribute to that. So one quick way, but a very high risk way, is jump into entrepreneurship very quickly. So, or even try to do a side business, right? Like you try to understand how businesses work in general. What do you mean by a business, and what essentially businesses involve? And I think one more viewpoint I had was try and understand your domain in which you're working in, because a lot of these business rules are encoded as domain knowledge. And
exactly.
Once you get to know that, a lot of your problems are solved. So
yeah. And also one thing, and also one thing to add on there is like when you churn out results and when you get your model results, unless and until you know the business end and the business problem clearly and have like understanding on what your client wants or any person wants, you'll not be able to make a lot of sense out of the results that you're getting. It'll be just numbers. So only when you are able to like put perspectives in place, you'll be able to like get a lot of insights or whatever that you are looking for out of the model or even a basic EDA experiment. Only when you are able to relate to it, you will be able to like find interesting things that are happening, and then you will be able to tie back things together to convey a better story.
And I think to some extent courses that we see nowadays are to be blamed for that. I mean, I don't say that they are responsible, but then they say that, hey, once you are through this course, you've become a data scientist now. You don't need to think anymore.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, true. That's true.
yeah.
That's true.
So it's like
So
seeing BMTC ads. Okay, 2 months in, you are a data scientist. That's all.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not the case. I can personally say, because I've been talking with a lot of folks in my obviously whoever messages me, they used to ask me like, what is the general time it takes to become a data scientist? I can't give you a definite time. If that had been the case, everyone would have been already a data scientist or would have been in the process, right?
Yeah.
So it ties back to a lot of like, as you mentioned, the courses are putting things very objective, and that's where the subjective part or the empathy part that we are talking about like goes out of picture, and people are not getting exposed to it. So I guess there's some way to do is like probably talk with people in LinkedIn who are like far more experienced, and and then you will be able to like get their perspective on things. And that's pretty much what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah. Without this skill, you just become a developer, right? So there is nothing else, right? You are coding in Python, of course. You are using data, but if you are not able to come up with an insight, or if you're not able to come up with an approach itself, go back and business to say these are your insights, you just become a developer. That's what I was for initial 2 years. You just do what is asked to you to do, but you are not doing it. Right?
Very true, Adarsha.
So,
very true.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that everyone should. Again, as Imad rightly told, there are no courses. You don't have to rely on courses also, right? As you start doing your projects, you let's say, for example, you are doing a project on e-commerce, right? You just try spending equal amount of time in understanding the e-commerce business as well, right? Not just the Python part or the machine learning part, the understanding the business part as well. It can be done. It can be. You need not to rely on someone else all the time. It's just that you have to spend time on that part as well.
Sure. Okay, so very, very related question is the next question, right? Like, what was something you thought was true about the field before you entered, which you no longer think is true? So, which is again, you're standing outside and you think, okay, data scientists playing with money, throwing dollar bills around. And you enter the field and you see there's no money at all. No, not no money, but there's no dollar bill at all. So what was something you thought was true, but now that you're in the field, you think is no longer true?
Yeah, I guess I probably answered this, gave an answer already for this, but yeah, I'll reiterate it. One thing is like the expectation of starting to do the cool stuff, in the day one, that you enter into the office, you are going to like given a problem and you are going to implement state of the art algorithms and solve it, and like you'll be like, yeah, that's how data science works. That expectation, if someone has, I guess that is not the case. You have to go through a lot, and I guess Adarsha's journey pretty much sums up like how the things will be for you in a potential like transition from a data analyst to a lead data scientist in 6 years. So you can pretty much see how it will go for you. So I guess probably having a realistic expectation and like trying to learn as much as you can as you go and picking things up. I guess that's one thing that people should keep in mind, rather than having that you'll do the fancy stuff straight off the bat.
Adasha?
I think pretty much the same. But before that, I really did not have any expectation, right? As I already mentioned, I was sort of pushed into it, right?
You thought I'll get employment. I got employment. Finished. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. So, but yeah. As I move ahead, even the expectations start picking in, right? Even I want to learn the cooler things. But yeah, it happened gradually. It happened slowly. But as I told you, I did not have any that sort of imaginations.
Okay, so what are you working on currently? Which company? What's your role? I know you guys can't talk about the top secret projects that you're doing in your company, because otherwise FBI will come knocking at your doors. So No, but you can talk a little bit about the kind of projects. So again, this is more from the perspective of what does your company do? I know Mu Sigma is consulting, so you do a lot of things, but what kind of projects do you do which allow you to do what you're doing, like allow you to grow in your field? So what are you working on currently? What's your role? All of that.
Okay. So yeah, a lot of, to be honest, variety of verticals and variety of horizontals are there. As I mentioned earlier, Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, these are like in different verticals like retail, pharma, telecom, even CPG, FMCG, all these regions, horizontals, and when it goes to verticals, and when it goes to horizontals, it is demand planning, finance, sales, marketing. So personally, I would say like I have worked in CPG industry for a while, as well as telecom, solving business problems there for Fortune 100 companies, and yeah. So the areas where like demand planning, finance, and sales, and currently I'm working in a marketing mix project where we are like trying to help our clients understand which all marketing areas are something that they should focus and invest a lot of money to get better ROI and stuff. So with respect to Mu Sigma itself, there are a lot of variety of projects that we work on. We, as a decision scientists, it is a journey that we take our clients starting from data collection to delivering the insights or predictive analytics part, and help them make the decisions. So that's why the role in itself is called as decision scientist in the first place. So yeah, so you can see a variety of projects in data engineering, reporting as usual, and obviously analytics and predictive analytics. And again, we also have IND labs where we do a little bit of R&D stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
Adasha?
Yeah. So I worked in similar type of setting as well, right? In my previous company, it was Credence Analytics. It was again into consulting, right? Where it was a service-based company, right? And now I am in Indigene, where it is Indigene Omnipresence. It is basically a sort of a product-based company, right? We are sort of building a product for pharma industry, right? For pharma representatives. And we are sort of making the product a bit more smarter, right? So now, talking about my trends and experience, I was more into e-commerce and retail, right? Again, that trends itself was into a lot of domains, as Karthik mentioned, just like Mu Sigma, right? Actually, the trends co-founders are from Mu Sigma itself, right? So now there again into e-commerce retail, again we were a lot of into customer analytics, right? Trying to understand who is a potential customer, who is going to churn, and what are their demographics behaviors, right? It's not only just predicting things, it's also trying to understand the customer behavior, right? Okay, my female customers tends to be more potential than my male customers, right? Or there are a lot of demographics that involved. How do you find out that which demographics is sort of is sort of the customers that you want to concentrate on, right? So those sort of analysis or prediction we used to do in e-commerce and retail setting, right? There are a lot of analytics goes behind the demand planning as well, or also what sort of product items that you have to need to have in your warehouses, and how it goes to the supply chain basically, right? So those kind of projects as well. And yeah, there are customer lifetime value is one, right? You want to understand what is the lifetime value of a particular customer, right? So these are the few projects that I used to work in Tridents, right? It was purely service related, right? And for now, it's on the same lines. It's still into customer analytics, right? But now that we are in pharma, just trying to understand the same behaviors, but into and our customers would be doctors, right? So I try to understand again the behavior, or what are their interests, and how the marketing, as is he's rightly mentioned, what are the right channels to be used, what are the different marketing strategies to be done, right? So those are the problem statement that we are trying to solve, but as a part of a product, right? So I have worked in both type of setting, wherein you work for a service-based company and also a product-based company, and the experience is bit of entirely different, right? In service-based, you tend to rely on a lot of results each day in, day out, right? You have to show some results or insights to the stakeholders. They will be looking out for that, and they have to take actions on that, right? But in product-based companies, it's more of a creating those pipelines. There are a lot involved in it. There are a lot of deployment related activities, AWS, Azure, those kind of things will come into play because it's a product, right? The whole, whatever machine learning activity you do, it has to be sort of deployed in any of the cloud services, right? So there is a technology heavy, right, in product based, but in service based, it's more about getting insights out of the data.
Cool. Yeah, so I thought maybe we could, that this question was not there originally, but product versus service, which one would you, I mean, not say is better, but like which one would you think is more suited for learning? Which is more, so what do you think about, so I think Adasha, Karthikeyan, have you worked on a product company or any ideas on?
No, not yet. Yeah, not yet. But yeah, as like I can say from a consulting standpoint, I'm loving it right now because I'm able to solve a lot of problems in a lot of different verticals, and I'm getting a lot of exposure towards it. And I guess for the initial phase of your career, probably having working in consulting or service based or like stakeholder facing roles or companies would like help you learn a lot more. And I personally also like doing this right now. So yeah, but probably sometime product-based companies, I would love to hear Adarsha say the perks of being in product-based companies and doing analytics in it.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, as you rightly mentioned, so the advantages being you sort of get to work in a lot of domains, right? E-commerce, retail, pharma, a lot of companies, lot of domains will be there in a particular service-based company, and you sort of get to exposure to all the domains. That is one advantage. And again, as you told, you will get to learn a lot of things, right? Purely because you would have to spend more time in a given day, right? I don't know, it might be a myth, but what I observed is I used to spend close to 10-12 hours in a day, 12 hours on an average actually, when I was working in service-based companies. And because you have to get results each and every day, right? You have to send out those results. Someone is looking out for those results because their actions depend on that, right? So it becomes hectic sometimes, right? But at the end of the day, you are seeing insights, you are seeing results. It keeps you excited as well, right? So there is learning, there is excitement, but it might become a bit hectic, right? On the other hand, product based, the last third point will not be there. You won't be that much of pressurized to do things, right? Because everything is planned out, everything is slow, goes in a planned manner, and you will have a bit of time for yourself to learn other things, because that's how product based work. You have to be innovative, right? You need to learn new things and you need to implement in your products. That's how it becomes smarter, right? That's how it becomes intelligent. So you will have enough time to learn new things, and you will have enough time to implement. You won't be that, and your mind itself should be calmer so that you can think of new ideas or new concepts, right? Otherwise, if you're working 12 hours a day, you cannot think, right? So I think those would be the observations that I made.
Yeah. Also, the difference there being the product company that you're talking about is not a startup. So there's a difference there also, right?
Oh, yeah, there is that difference also.
If it's a startup, then
startup.
Scene is very different.
Yeah. Startup was an established company.
Okay, I think we are coming towards the end. One advice to people aspiring to get into the field.
Be consistent.
Okay.
Learn it. Whatever that you are going to learn or like learning right now, do it consistently, do it every day. If
All right.
you have already decided you want to get into data science, why
Yeah.
not give it a serious go?
Which
And
brings,
why not like do
which
it
brings me
consistently?
to being consistent on LinkedIn. Like, how do you do that? Can you talk more about that?
Oh yeah. So yeah, so I started this, I guess, January 1st of 2018, and
Yeah.
that was my final semester in engineering, and I wanted to start something to create an habit for myself,
Mhm.
to keep doing something which I like. So data science was something that I picked up already, and I wanted to share and learn. At that point of time, it was all about learning. If someone is going to tell me something new which I don't know, it's a learning for me. So that's all I expected, and I didn't expect anything out of like what I was sharing out there, because it is going to anyway help someone if they don't know that. If they know, they will be sharing more information on that topic. So that was the motivation or inspiration behind it. But I don't keep a hard time on like, okay, morning 9 o'clock I'm going to post it, or like evening 9 o'clock I'm going to post it. I'm just going to post it every day, and I'm going to do it with the schedule that I have, and I am going to fit some time around it, and I'm going to do it. And for the initial days it will be difficult, I'll be honest with you. I have to make sure like I am proactively ready with the content that I want to like put today, so that I can like share it with folks. But as and when like it got into months, like 2 months, 3 months into it, it became an habit, and like I can't think of a day where I like can't go without posting right now. So it has become like that. So yeah, so that's where the being consistent part comes into picture. 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, you become consistent, and then it becomes an habit, and then you start doing it by default.
And has that
that
helped
that
you?
is true.
Has that helped
that
you?
that has helped me a lot,
Mhm.
because the rate at which if I had like just picked up one course and learned, and like waited on like, okay, I'll see, like I'll learn only things that have been like said in this, it would have been a very difficult journey for me, or I would say like not more rewarding journey for me, because I wanted to learn as much as I can whenever I invest time, and I just want to do it every day, and it certainly helped me a lot
Sure.
in my career. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Adasha, one advice.
Uh, cool. Again, it's you don't have to sort of start things from a reverse manner, from a like entirely from a different angle, right? I think nowadays, I think anyone who wants to become a data scientist, I think everyone is starting from deep learning, right? It's like they're coming ulta, so they're doing deep learning and then machine learning, then statistics, right? That's not the way it should be done, right? That's why you should start as basic as possible, right? You don't have to really do cool things to start off with. Just learn statistics to start with. It is really important, and I don't know how much of weightage it is given in courses and all. I really don't know, but the important thing is you need to learn statistics, right? Univariate, bivariate will itself just doing things in Excel will solve a lot of problems. I think Karthik might have known this, right? There are lot of work is done in Excel itself, right? Just the univariate and bivariate, right? So
Very true.
efforts, yeah, put a lot of efforts in there. Try to solve simple business use cases, simple problem statements. Then move on to machine learning, learn algorithms, how you can use it to solve problem statements. Then move on to your NLP and deep learnings, right? So don't do things just want to do some cool image classification stuff. That's not how it works. Like hardly few projects which surrounds around deep learning, right? So a lot of things are still in statistics. I think that would be my call on that.
Okay. Yeah. Adasha is telling, don't try to learn to fly before you learn to walk.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so I think with that, I have come to the end of the questions that I had for you both. There are a few questions over here that people have asked on the Zoom chat. Maybe I can read through and you can try and answer those. Okay, can you please explain some of the projects you worked on when you were starting your journey of data science, which can be helpful to beginners? Asked by Kushagra.
So it totally depends on the company that you are going to get into in the first place. If it's going to be a product or a service based or a consulting company, you'll be put into a project where they think you might be a best fit to start with, or where you can like learn. Or if you have been force fitted, I guess probably you have to start exploring from there only. For me, it was finance and demand planning project where I have to like look into a few of the parts of how business has been done in a particular Europe country for one of the Fortune 100 company. So that's where I started my journey. It was like more of a data exploration, data analysis, insight generation, reporting, and then moving on to predictive analytics. That's how my journey started. And I won't say this is going to be the ideal one, or this is going to be the one that you will be faced with. But yeah, this is how I got exposed to in the first project.
Asha?
Yeah, I think I pretty much answered this previously, right? So I was more involved in customer analytics, right? Which was about understanding the behavior of the customers to predict whether he's going to churn or not from a given business. What are the characteristics of churning customers? How do we, to whom all we should probably give them certain offers to make them stay back, and what are the products that they're buying, and which product will go out of stock in which particular time zone, right? So those are the things that I was sort of walking around, right, in my initial days.
Okay, the next question is from Vivek Guntnur. He's asking, what's more important or integral, programming or statistics or soft skills / business knowledge?
I don't think R should be present in that question. It's going to be and it's going to be everything. It's going to be integral. Yeah.
Programming and statistics and soft skills / business knowledge is important according to Karthik.
Yes.
Adasha?
Yeah, I think it should be 33%, 33%, 33.33, 33.33. Yeah.
I was about to ask where's the 1%, but okay.
So yeah, I think all are equally important. If I have to rank, it's business skills, statistics, and last the programming.
Yeah. Praneeth Kumar, is it preferable to do BTech in data science, Manipal, or do computer science in reputed places and do MS in data science? Very specific, Manipal. Oh, I think the question is more like, should I do a BTech in computer science or a BTech in data science? Because a lot of places have started BTech in computer science now. Sorry, data science.
So data science.
Yeah.
Anyone? Anything you want to say?
So one thing is like, if companies are fine with people with 4 years of data science in like degree, I don't know how dynamics will be like in coming years, but at least for the moment we can clearly see that it's like any role if you see in a good company or a very big company, product based, let's assume, has like requirement of a master's or a PhD or like something of 5 years of experience, or you'll for sure see that. I would say like at least I came from an information technology / computer science background. It helped me a lot to like learn few things in the initial phase itself, and then transition into it. But if you have the opportunity to learn data science for a longer period of time and like able to like make yourself very strong, and when you're going to come out as someone who's looking for a data scientist job, and that's going to help you, that curriculum is going to help you, and I don't know how industry is going to welcome all those things, but yeah, you have to assess those things. And yeah, Adasha?
Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of higher education, right? Probably Imad can answer that, the MS part of it, right? But yeah, if you, as he said, so if you have an opportunity for data science, learning data science for 4 years, I think you should definitely take it. If you are really sure that you're going to do, you're getting into data science, right? Why do you want to learn something that doesn't matter, right? So that part should be taken. But if you're confused that okay, I'm not sure, is it right or wrong, then you can do computer science, and then anyway you can
transition.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
that
true.
can be done. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. And the MS part probably Imad can answer.
Yeah, I think you can do an MS. You can do whatever you want, but point is, from my point of view, I think the second option is preferable, because then it allows you to explore a lot more during your bachelor's. And if you really think that data science is your thing, after your bachelor's, you can go ahead and do a master's in that. So that way you are allowing yourself to expose to a lot more computer science related fields. So that's my only point there. Kishore asks, hi Karthik, how's your role changed from data engineer to real data scientist role, where you are doing modeling and prediction?
So first thing first, I was not a data engineer or a real data scientist. My role is a business analyst / decision scientist. So I travel throughout the journey of problem solving with my client to solve the problem and get the insights, get the results that we are expecting for that business use case. So my role starts with ideation of the problem itself and solving it at the end in the due course of time. So it's not data engineer to a data scientist role. We take the skill sets of data engineer to do certain tasks. We take the skill set of data analyst to do certain tasks, and we take the skill set of data scientist for doing the predictive stuff, and then travel the journey of decision making. So basically that's what my role is, and that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Again, one more to Karthikeyan. As like Adarsha, were you not working with seniors and learning from them?
Oh, I was working. Like probably it didn't come out as that discussion, but yeah, obviously I have been working with a lot of industry folks and senior folks as well, and Musicma is also a young company, so we have a lot of folks who are like got exposed to a lot of things and have a lot of experience in a short span of time as well. So we do interact with a lot of folks, and like in a day-to-day setting, I do have a lot of interactions with my senior folks to get thoughts and like progress with the problem that we are solving. It's obviously there.
Okay. So next question is, should I completely rely on online courses, or should I also contribute to time on projects? Should I also do projects?
For sure. So say
Both, right?
applied, yeah, to be honest, yes, it's obviously going to be both, because you have to learn to do stuff, and you have to keep doing stuff to improve yourself. So applied knowledge is the most important thing that you should try to strive for. Knowledge is as much as you can and as much as you want, you can like gather, but you have to apply somewhere to make sure that your knowledge is like making relevant for you.
Yeah.
And as well as the business. Yes.
Adasha?
Yeah, I think I'll go with Karthik. So it's the same thing. So you would have to initial few days or few months, you will go through all the courses. You will just learn things, right? And most of the time you would be solving projects, right? So I would say 30% you will learn things, and 70% you will solve the projects.
Okay. Can you ask them, should a BE fresher do MS in data science in US or Canada? Will it give me extra exposure and knowledge about the field? Thank you.
So in that case, I have a couple of my close friends doing masters right out of their bachelor's as well. One is particularly doing in data science, and one is doing in CS. And both of them have like mentioned that it's an enriching experiment that they have done, and it's a very good experience for them. Both of them were like from the US, but I'm not sure how the scene is in Canada with respect to the masters in itself, but with respect to US, you will get exposed to a lot of things, and the experience have been positive only. And like I also would say like take some time to make sure that okay, that's the decision that you want to take, or you want to like get exposed to the field in an initial role like a data analyst or a business analyst, the whatever that you can get into, get some exposure, and then probably you can take masters as well if you are like very interested and want to go in that route post like couple of years as well. So there's no stopping there, and many people have done that already, so you have a lot of data points to rely on that as well.
You have to, anything to add, Adasha?
No, I don't think I want to do. I'm, as I already told you, I'm not a big fan of.
Okay, next question
so
is
I
to you.
don't-
Adasha, next question is for you then. Sanya asks you, is there any job opening in Indigene? Looking for
I think there are, yeah. There are.
Pune City.
Sorry?
Pune. Looking for
Oh,
Pune.
Pune. No. Pune. No.
Okay. Sorry, Sanya. No jobs in Pune. In Indian. Sajan, which framework do you think is best for deep learning? Sajan is asking, which framework do you think is best for deep learning? Anyone wants to take that?
Karthikeyan?
To be honest, both are having its own perks and pros and cons. PyTorch is something very interesting for me. Yeah.
Okay. PyTorch.
Okay, I would. I have been working only on TensorFlow. I did not explore much on that, so I think probably I'll go with TensorFlow.
Okay, TensorFlow versus PyTorch is another battle.
Yeah.
Can you provide some good blogs or books to read more about basics in statistics and machine learning algorithms? Niharika asks.
So if it's going to be statistics, I would say only one book, ISLR. You have a course in Stanford as well. With the same book, the authors have created the course as well. Just go to stanford.edu.in and statistics. You'll find this course and you can take it. It's a very good one. That's the starting point for statistics. Yeah.
Adasha?
Yeah, so for statistics, I exactly forgot the name. So elements of statistical learning, right? Yeah. So I think that's pretty good. You can probably explore sort of end to end.
By the same authors which Karthikeyan is mentioning, ISLR and...
Yeah, both of them are.
Yes, yeah. I think that's pretty good. It's in detail.
Probably you can skip few things in between also if it's boring. But yeah, I think it's
okay. Okay, we have next question from Vishy. He says we see many clients still have large amount of their applications built in legacy mode, starting from data, architecture, code, test environments, tools, etc. How can ML or data science help in transforming these legacy applications, and what would be the methodology? This is a consulting question. Who are the consultants here?
I guess both of us have been there, done that, I guess. So yeah, so actually it depends a lot on how the companies are like planning to like look forward with respect to their data management and use of data in their pipeline. So basically a lot of companies are like as he mentioned, legacy systems or basic tools are being the ones that are being used. Excels are pretty much covering a lot of work that has been done by a lot of people, but people want to move from Excel because it's not something scalable. It's not something like multiple users simultaneously working in it and like leveraging it for like taking important decisions or something like that. So companies sure, like I right now see a lot of companies are moving towards the data science part of things. So what they are doing is like they are trying to build the foundation of properly managing the data first, and then moving to cloud, moving to Azure, or moving to AWS, which is like making a lot of sense for them, and then like getting started from there. So data management and warehousing has been one of the important things in the transition of companies moving forward from legacy systems to future stuff with ML and data science.
Yeah. So again, as I told you, it's a broader consulting question, right? Probably it's again in a day or two, you cannot just switch all your platforms into in a new technology, right? It takes a lot of time. So just keeping data science in mind, I would probably just concentrate on taking data out of their existing system, right? Somehow, right? Use XYZ methodology to just extract the data out of it, create your own external data science pipeline, and again ingest back the results of the solution back to your existing pipelines, right? That would be a methodology to start with, right? And later you can start integrating or migrating everything to one platform.
Okay. So there's one question on PhD and which universities for PhD in India. I'm not going to ask that. NLP versus deep learning is another question. I don't think that's a straightforward comparison in any way. I mean, because NLP also uses deep learning to a lot of extent. So it's not like you can compare those two. It's not really a question that way. So all questions from Zoom have been answered. I got another Google sheet that I think Abgar had already asked. I'm just going through a lot of these questions are what we covered during the session. There's one question that I think is relevant for Karthikeyan. It is, how hard is it to crack the Mu Sigma interview?
How hard? Okay. So it's very subjective. Like I'll keep it that way. So the thing is, the interview process changes quite a bit every year, because it is to like make sure that people are having relevant skills and are having potential to develop relevant skills. That's what people are looking into mostly. It's the potential that you have to like learn stuff to solve problems with whatever that we are doing. So I would, at least from whatever my interview experience was, it is more on the lines that, as I mentioned, problem, how you see things on how you can solve it, or like how you can take next steps. It's not like something that, okay, I ask you a question and you give me an answer. It's not going to be that way. It's not going to be, the business problems are not going to be that way as well. So how well are you going to, let's say, travel from taking a problem, breaking down into pieces, and then to solve it with whatever that you would need to solve it. So if you have that level of understanding and like curiosity to ask question back and forth to know a lot more, and then think through it and solve and give a very good suggestion, I guess you will be able to crack the interview. From a, if it's going to be from a campus placement or something, I guess the process might change a bit for filtering a lot of folks in the initial phases, and that happens with a lot of quants, behavioral questions, so that people try to assess you on how good you will be able to respond to things that will come up in consulting industry. So that's how it is. Yeah.
There's another very interesting question. I think this will be the last question. I don't see a lot of different kinds of. Most questions are like, how do I get a job? What was how to improve as a data scientist? How to get started? All of that. So I think we've looked into all of that. There is one question on, I have 10 years experience, 12 year experience already, and I'm looking to transition. So how can I do that? That is one question we can answer. And after that, there is one last question that I can take. Okay, so any tips on, if I am in the industry for 10 years, 12 years, and I'm looking to transition, what should I do?
So one interesting conversation I had recently with Nitin, I guess, Imad, I guess you also had a conversation with him, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess you had already around close to 10, 12 years of experience in management and a lot of other things as well. And he wanted to like transition into data science. So one biggest plus point that anyone who has that much experience will have is the domain knowledge. They'll be able to they will be able to make sense out of all the business use cases that they have come across and might be coming across in future. So that's basically the greatest edge anyone can have with respect to having like 10 to 12 years of experience in a domain. And with respect to like transition or anything of that sort, as I already initially mentioned, pick up the programming or the necessary data analysis skills that you need to make to leverage your domain knowledge with the data that you have, and start transitioning from there. It will be very easy, and you will be able to churn out results or insights way faster than anyone who is new, because you will know the business in and out already.
Yeah. So on the same lines, right? The 50% of his skills are already there, right? So for a manager position, or like 10, 12 years experience, 15 years experience, the 50% knowledge should be your domain expertise, right? Business understanding, and how do you create those problem statements. I think that is already there, right? You would have to concentrate on other 50%, which is understanding statistics, machine learning theory part, and the programming. Again, the programming part, I don't think you would have to worry too much, because again, he will have a team to solve that, right? It's probably still you need to have an understanding. Probably you can have 20% of the weightage go to programming. You should not concentrate too much, and the rest 30% you can concentrate on learning how statistics work, how machine learning works, and how you can frame those problem statements. So I think that's how I can split it 50, 30, and 20 for senior folks.
Okay. Okay, the last question for today, I think it's about 1:30, almost 1:30, is very interesting question. Do data scientists ever have work-life balance? Since whatever time is not spent on work has to be spent on learning and upskilling in the field. Data science requires constant updation. How do we balance?
It's a very, very interesting question. It's a very good question, I would say. Yeah. Thanks, Imad, for spotting it. And like probably that is coming from someone who has like spoken with a lot of folks and have seen a lot of folks being there in that question.
It's coming from Chennai. It's coming from Chennai. I can tell you that much.
Okay. Probably. Yeah. So to be honest, yeah, you have to strike a balance. Like you have to do that. It's like no way that you will be able to like learn everything also, and there will not be enough time to learn everything also. So you have to make sure that what are your like probable next steps that you want to look at. Let's say you want to get better in regression or like solving regression based problems. Try learning that alone, not deep learning and the other stuff that are also very cool and like something that you want to learn. But prioritize things so that it will become far more easier to keep yourself relevant and keep yourself like preventing yourself from burning out. And like I see a lot of fatigue around in LinkedIn when people like keep like learning stuff and posting. I get it, like that's very good that you guys are doing it, but how much have you applied and how much are you prioritizing things on learning? Because I could see folks picking up randomly Tableau at some point of time and like picking up deep learning the very next week. I don't know how that is possible, at least from my way of learning or like learning stuff at least is like, okay, I've learned Tableau. I want to apply things in Tableau and like see what Tableau can do for me and why I have picked it and like what would be probable next steps. And then going from there rather than like going to deeplearning.ai, signing up a course, and then going to neural networks straight from Tableau or like straight from not doing anything, as Adarsh mentioned, going from like backward to the starting basics. So, and from a work-life balance, it depends a lot on your projects and depends a lot on how timelines are and how things are, how dynamics are with your clients, with your company, and that's like too much of subjective and layers on that part. It always boils down to you to make sure that you strike a balance with whatever that you are doing and whatever that you are learning. That's the only way that can be done.
Yeah, I think his last point was pretty much valid. It depends on the companies and on the projects, right? There is always a choice for you. If you have that flexibility, you want to learn more, and you have the time with you, I would definitely recommend that to get into a project or a company where you can learn more and you can spend a lot of time. And let's say after you get married, you don't get time. After children, so you don't. So yeah, at that time you can settle for a company where you have enough time to learn and implement, right? There you can get a pretty much work-life balance.
Interesting you bring up marriage, but we're not going to talk about personal life here. Yeah, it is like it's a function of what you want to do as well, right? Like if you want to just survive and you just want to know the basics, then you of course will have a lot of work-life balance, but then your work will not be that much enriching. You will not be able to contribute in more ways than one. But if you are looking to contribute a lot, then of course there is a bit of a trade-off there between work and life. So yeah, like I said, maybe initially you try and gain as much knowledge, gain as much applied knowledge, maybe sacrifice a little bit on the work-life balance itself. So tilt the balance in the favor of one, and then maybe restore the balance as you get married. I don't know, but yeah.
Sorry, that can be the milestone.
Yeah. So when you decide to get married. And okay, I think we don't have time now to take any more questions. I would like to thank both Karthikeyan and Adasha for taking out the time to talk to us and share their learnings with everybody here. So thank you so much, both Karthikeyan and Adasha, for taking out the time. If you want to say any last words, you can just share your thoughts.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Imad. I guess it's been a long overdue, to be honest. I guess we were like planning to have things in in-person sessions as well, but I was like that's where I didn't have work-life balance for a while, probably.
Yeah,
We could
yeah.
say. And I'm happy that we were able to do it as soon as possible. And today it was a very good experience. And I guess probably people who have attended have got something out of it, and will be able to take something and start doing things. And one thing I would say is be consistent and learn every day.
Yeah.
I'll help you.
Yeah, I think because of the pandemic, it's been like 2 to 3 months we are not able to go out and attend these kind of meetups, right? Pretty much from last 2 months didn't do anything. So I think this is a bit of refreshing for me as well. Thanks for having me, and as Karthik mentioned, keep learning.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody who's joined. Until next time, I don't know when the next time will be, but whenever it will be, I will let you guys know. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.